Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create an array of colors so you can on-screen proof overprinting for a two-color spot color job. It's a type of thing that you could set up once and save it and open it at other times when you need to and just swap out the spot colors. So it's a nice thing to keep around if you're doing a lot of two-color work. I have some panels here that are already open. These are the panels you will need to do this. We've got the color panel, swatches panel, layers, appearance, graphic styles, also the attributes panel, and you'll need to make sure you open up a Pantone swatch library. I have the solid coded here. And of course, since we're working with spot color, you should have a solid library open, whether it's coded, uncoded, or matte. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a square. I'm just going to click with my rectangle tool and make a half-inch square so that you can be any size you want, but a half-inch square works pretty good. And what I'm going to do is select a Pantone color for it, a swatch color, and since I have green there, I might as well choose a Pantone green that may be similar. I'm going to choose Pantone 354 right now, and yeah, that's a little brighter than I want. Maybe I'm going to go to 362. That might be a little better for what I want to do. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this swatch to create a row of 10 squares, and the easiest way for me to do that and have them evenly spaced and spaced exactly how I want them is to simply select my selection tool, choose my selection tool, press return, and what I'm going to do is move them 3/4 of an inch horizontally, and I'm going to click on the copy button to get a duplicate. Then I'm going to use the transform again command, that's command D, to duplicate the squares until I have a row of 10. And the reason I want 10 is because I want to create a range of tenths spaced apart 10 and 10% increments. I'm going to take this last one and I'm going to change it to a 10% tint using my color panel. And then by selecting all of these, I can go under my edit menu to edit colors. And I'm going to choose this command here, blend horizontally. What it will do, it'll look at the horizontal relationship and look at the furthest left object and the furthest right object, and will blend the color values in between them. So when I do this, I get 10% increments of, you can look in the color panel and see that my tint is reduced by 10% in each of these. And now I'm going to select them all again, and I'm going to press return to bring up my move dialog box, and this time I'm going to move them vertically. Again, I'm going to press the copy button and press command D multiple times to transform again until I have 10 rows. Okay. So this first layer is going to be labeled color 1. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is set up for my second color. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this layer. I'm going to call it color 2. And I'm going to hide the first layer. And on the second layer, I am going to delete everything but the first column. So on the first layer, I'm working with rows. Second layer, I'm working with columns. I'm essentially going to do the same thing. I'm going to select these, and I'm going to choose another color to work with them. Let's choose this one here, Pantone 7549, and I'm going to choose the bottom one and set it to a 10% tint. I'm going to select the row, and again under my edit menu, go to edit colors, but this time I'm going to choose blend vertically. It does the same thing as blend horizontally, except it looks at the vertical relationships of objects. And now I have a range of tints 10% apart. I'm going to select these and Press return to bring up my move dialog box. I'm going to move them horizontally 3/4 of an inch, just like I did before. Copy and Command D to get again 10 columns. So now I have 10 columns on the layer 2 and 10 rows on layer 1. So on layer 1 the colors are reduced horizontally. On layer 2 the colors are reduced vertically. So by overlaying these, we will get different values overlapping each other. Well, by default, when we overlap objects in Illustrator, the top objects will knock out what's underneath. So if I was to print this right now, we would get just yellow squares and no green combined with them. In order to combine the two colors, I have to select the top objects and set them to overprint. So what I'm going to do is you click to the right of the target on layer 2 and to select everything, and I'm going to set it to overprint fill. Okay, and now we can see the range of colors that we have. Each of these colors is the result of combining the two different Pantone spot colors. To be able to see this on your screen, what you need to do is you will need to go to View, and you'll need to select Overprint Preview. I'm going to turn it off real quick so you can see Overprint Preview. Even though these top ones are set to overprint, you can't see the results. It's turned off by default because it takes additional memory to display it. So I'm going to go back, turn on Overprint Preview, and we can see our results. The next step is to create swatches that we can use over and over. And unfortunately, we can't use standard swatches. Illustrator does not have the ability to combine two ink colors into one swatch. You can do that in InDesign, but for some reason Illustrator does not support that. So instead of creating standard color swatches, we're going to work with graphic styles. What we're going to do is build through the appearance panel. We're going to build a color that really has an object that has two fills in relationship to each other, and then save those as a graphic style. To be able to do that, I've got to be able to sample both colors, and since they're overlapping exactly, it makes it a little hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the top layer, all the objects on it, again by clicking to the right of the target, and I'm going to nudge it over a few points and up a few points. Okay, what this does, it gives me a relationship now where I can see the resulting color of the combination, but also I can see the two original colors as well. And this will allow me to use the eyedropper to select those colors, because if I use the eyedropper on the resulting color, I only select the top color. It doesn't recognize that the color is as being a combination between the two and will not combine it correctly. So what I'm going to do now is draw a rectangle. It could be any object really, but I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to assign it, use my eyedropper, and I'm going to give it a fill from the bottom layer of color. So it's going to start with green, and so you can see over here in the appearance panel that when I select this object, I have the green, and right now it's 100% green. And every color in this first column is 100% green with a different percentage tint of the yellow, or the second color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my appearance panel. I'm going to highlight the fill option, and I'm going to drag it down to the paper tear off icon, which means new or duplicate in this case, and I have two fills. And I'm going to highlight the top fill, and I'm going to click on a yellow fill from my chart. And now what I have up here is a combination of these two colors, and you notice when I clicked on it, it assigned the overprinting to the upper fill, which is perfect. And what you keep in mind is we don't want to give the lower fill an overprint. You may get unexpected results if you're overlapping objects in Illustrator. So just the top color will get the fill. Now, to save this, what I need to do is click into the graphic styles panel, and so that it'll record it and save it for me. Now, the what I need, what I think really is really helpful, what I like to do is to name these swatches in a way that makes sense. So the first color here is 100%, I know that, and the second color is 70%. So I would name it something like this: 100/70, which to me says color 1 is 100%, color 2 is 70%. Now, I don't give it specific Pantone numbers because I could use this chart another time. I could swap out the colors. I'll show you that in a minute. So it's really just the value relationship that I want. So I'm going to say OK, and there is a swatch. Now, if I'm going to create another color here, but what I want to do is I'm going to make it easy for us to see what we're doing, I'm going to draw a little box around it. Say that I want this color here. So again, I'm going to select this rectangle up here, so I have an object to work on. I'm going to select the lower color and get my eyedropper, and I'm going to click on the color from the bottom layer. Select the upper color, and then with my eyedropper, click on the color from the upper layer. And now this color should match what's in the middle here, where the two colors overlap, and I will save it again. So now I have two different graphic swatches, two different graphic styles that I could apply to anything. So it doesn't really matter if I'm going to select a weird color, a different color, not necessarily weird, a different color, assign here, and if you look, if I simply click on these swatches, I can change the color that is a combination of both spot colors. Now, I mentioned when I first started that you can set this file up and use it over and over. So once I set this up, I would save it. I actually have a file like this on my hard drive that I can open up and swap out colors if I want to, when I need to. And let's swap out, I'm going to swap out the green now for maybe something that's in the violet to burgundy range. So I'm going to select this Pantone, I'm going to go here, Pantone 7651. I'm going to click on it to add it to my swatches panel. And what I want to do is swap this existing green swatch for the new swatch. So what I do is I click on the new swatch first, command click on the swatch that I want to exchange for it, or exchange with it. So have them both selected, and in my swatches panel I go to the pop-up menu and I say merge swatches. When I do this, everything that was using that green swatch is now using the new color, and even my graphic styles are updated. So I can use this over and over, set up a range of colors using, or let's say a range of graphic styles, swatches in there, using some different values, and can swap them out with different colors anytime I want and update it automatically. I don't have to go back and rebuild my swatches over and over. So keep that in mind. To see this, you will have to make sure Overprint Preview is turned on, and to print it to a composite color printer, you will need to, under the Advanced option for overprints, you want to say Simulate. This will force the composite printer to approximate overprinting colors. On an offset press going through a rip, they would separate properly, but not on a 4-color composite printer. So that's it in a nutshell. If you set this up, save the file for easy access, and have fun working with two colors.